So this is the Black Friday Masterclass. If you guys have been to one of these before, it's a workshop. So we're going to give you a workbook that you can work through, and it's going to have a lot of PDFs and downloads that you can use. But let's just get into sort of the nuts and bolts. This is some results that we got from last year from our elite team. It was pretty amazing. And when I was preparing this document, I was pretty blown away the sort of revenue that people can make during this period. So just to give you some examples, in the top left there, we had one client. They turned over $553,000 just in this period here. Amazing. But you can see the spikes there. It was really epic. If we have a look at the second one on the top, on the right, we got $330,000 for that year. They were up 329%. That's just out of control. And that's because they executed the right way. They had a $60,000 day just by doing it right. And if you look at that $60,000 day, that was done before Black Friday had even started. Okay, so some really interesting ones there. Brand on the left, they did a little different strategy, and they ran a Black Friday month or a Cyber month. And you can see their sales over time hit a number of $20,000 days. And then one of the big guns in the bottom right there, $844,000. So these are just some results from our elite team that we had last year from the results. Outside of the elite team, some of the brands I've worked with, they actually I've seen them do $1 million in a single day. So we can really see the value of the event here. And I want to take you through why and how we're going to do that. And that's going to be the precipice of today. Now, most of you have met me because I can see we've got lots of T's and B's and some B's and G's in here. But for those of you that haven't met me that are a guest in this, I'm Brendan. Hi, nice to meet you all. Very nice to see you. But I'm a coach. I'm an e-commerce coach. I run my own e-commerce stores as well. I've been in e-commerce for 15 years now. I know I don't look that old, but I have been around for a little while. But I've been ranked top 50 in e-commerce, and I've been through 15 different Black Fridays in my life. So that's something that I'd like to share with you, the experience that I've had. So the playbook that we're going to teach today is tried and tested. It works. And I want you guys to really get some amazing results today. Awesome. Well, all the things aside, are we all ready to have our biggest sales month ever? I want you to write in the chat, yes or no, if you're ready for a biggest sales month ever. Yes. I was hoping everyone would say yes, because if you said no, you're in the wrong place today. You can go off and go and walk your dog. But yes, all right, awesome. So as I said, Q4 is the biggest month. Well, it's not a month, it's a quarter, but November, December is what we're going to be our money-making season, all right? And this is what we're going to set up. So the reason it is the biggest sales month of the year is because wallets are open, right? Wallets are open right now. Oh, well, they're not open now, but they're going to be open very soon. And the reason they're open is because we've got a number of different things that happen here. We're moving in towards the gifting season, with Christmas and all those sorts of things. So people were typically buying towards the end of the year anyway, but what's happened is we've moved that forward to become sort of this November period. And November is now one of the biggest months of the year because people are preparing, for the gifting season, but also just finishing up the end of the year. Now, the reason Black Friday was started was because November actually used to be a really quiet time of the year because in the old days before the internet, people used to go into store to purchase, and they'd usually do that in the December time, and they go shopping and they go into stores. And so what that used to mean was no one would shop in November because they were waiting for December, right? So someone decided to launch these Black Friday sales and have moved all the sales now into sort of this November period. So we want to take advantage of that. And that's why the wallets are open and people are ready to spend. The other cool thing, whether it's cool or not cool, is there's increased competition during this period. The difference with this month in particular is we're not just competing with our own competitors. And this is a really important thing you need to think about. Often we go, well, our competitors are on sale, our competitors are on discount. We're actually competing for the share of the wallet of our customer. Okay, so if you think about someone has $1,000 to spend over this period to buy gifts for themselves and other people, they're going to spend, they've got multiple retailers to choose from, not just you and your competitors, right? So your competitors are everybody now during this period because everybody is vying for the share of that wallet. So we need to remember that we don't just look at our own competition. We need to look at everyone to see how we compete in market. Now, a thing that happens in my program and when I work with a lot of e-commerce entrepreneurs, they say, look, I don't want to discount because it's going to devalue my brand. I don't want to discount. I don't want to drop my prices because if I do that, people are going to think that I'm a discount brand. Now, that's not entirely true. And Black Friday is the time you can discount. You have entire right to discount because you're discounting on the back of an event. Now, last Black Friday, I seen some luxury brands actually discounting and going on offer. I saw Prada, Louis Vuitton, Chanel. They actually all participated in Black Friday, whether it was a discount or whether it was a gift with purchase or whether it was some sort of credit, they still participated. And do you think it devalued their brand? No, it didn't devalue their brand, because if everybody's doing it, then it doesn't devalue your brand and you're just in the same space as those other people. So it's really important to know that if you want to be playing the game, you've got to play the game, right? So that's sort of how we want to think about it. And then I guess finally, what I've really learned from this over the 15 years of doing this is it actually does build long-term customers. If I look into my cohorts on my stores, so for the people that use Shopify in this group, you know, you've got this little dashboard that shows you analytics, and one of them shows you your customer cohorts. Does everyone know what that is? Yeah, everyone, yep, know the cohorts. So it's this little graph that shows you highlights on when people buy. The interesting thing is, I looked at our people who bought in November last year, and that's our most valuable cohort throughout the year. It's the darkest color. And the funny thing was, they came in on the Black Friday sales, but now they're remaining, their lifetime value with us is greater. So we're actually finding that this is building much better long-term customers if you're providing value to them and also providing an amazing experience. So I want you to think about that as a way of creating long-term relationships with your customers. The other thing about that, I just thought about it, is they aren't always discount-driven customers either. Right. So interestingly, on this cohort, I look at it and they actually have the highest average order value out of all our customers, the people that came in on last November. So it's a really interesting stat there. Team, just as we do go on through here, and I keep jumping in and out of my screen, so hopefully I'm not getting dizzy. Any questions you have, drop them in the chat while we're going. I often like to use the chat as a bit of a brain dump when I'm on these sort of workshops. So if I'm listening to other people talk and I've got a question, I just throw it in the chat because it's coming out of my, dumping out of my brain, so that if some more information comes in, I don't lose it. So throw the chats in there, we'll collate them and I'll answer them sort of as we go. So team, what's happening and when? All right, so I'm going to just jump into my notebook here. And I want to sort of take you through what's happening and when. So we've got the main event, and the main event is Black Friday, okay? And we'll say that the Black Friday event is here, okay? This is Black Friday. And for those of you that don't know, it is on the 24th of November. Okay, so that's the Black Friday event. And that is usually made up, well, always made up of the actual day, Black Friday. We usually get a Cyber Monday, but killer brands, they'll always do a VIP or an early access, and they might even do something like an extension, okay? So when we think of it that way, it's not just a single day, all right? It is an event, and I want you to think about this, and this is often why we refer to it as BFCM, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Now, that's the main event, but we want to think about what happens before and after that event, okay? So if we think of that as Black Friday, Cyber Monday period, prior to that, we're obviously in this month, which is November, and let's go to October, all right? So this is sort of the lead up to it. So the way we like to think about this is, what are we doing preparing for our pre-season gaming, okay? So if I refer back to the football, they'll always have pre-season training, then they'll have the games, and then they'll move into the Super Bowl, all right? So we think about it like that. So what are we doing to be pre-season? So right now, we should be doing something called building our audience, okay? Once we've built our audience, we then want to make sure that we are nurturing and hype. Okay, so these are the way we want to think about it. We're building our audience now. Once we've got our audience, we want to nurture them and we want to create hype about this event coming up. Because if we do that, then when we go to Black Friday, they're going to know who we are and they're going to sell, okay? We've already prepared them ready for sale. I'm going to go a little bit more in detail about what I mean about this and how you can do it on your store shortly. Then after Black Friday, it's not over. We don't just have our Mad Mondays of it like they do in Australia, or, you know, we don't just give up and, you know, go on holiday. We've still got some time. We've still got the end of the year where we can actually have our last little bit of a kick. And that's where we move into gifting. And that's our gifting season, okay? So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, we still have this sort of gifting season where we're sharing gifts with other people. And that's another event that we can leverage. Is this all landing for everyone? Is everyone finding this useful, just thinking about it like this? Yeah? Excellent. Great. Cool. So I want to take you through how we're going to build our audience, because this is the key to a successful Black Friday, is having an audience to sell to. So let me jump back into this one. We're going to build an audience. We're going to get our offer right, and then we're going to put in a plan. So a little bit like that layout. Now, the reason we want to build an audience team is we want to have a primed list of buyers. We want to have this queue at the front of a Louis Vuitton, but we want Louis Vuitton to be our store. We want to have a row of customers ready to actually come and buy from us. And the reason we want that is because we want them to be there so that when we dip our hands into the bucket of customers, there's a big bucket there that we can dip from. We want to have them primed and ready to buy. The other thing we want to make sure we've got is we want to pay less on ads. So as much as we talk about this being the increased competition, it's not just increased competition on share of wallet. It also means that everyone else is advertising this period. Everyone else is screaming from the rooftops. Everyone else is wanting those customers, which means it's increased. The ability to get reach is actually harder because there's more people screaming from the rooftops. So we actually end up paying more on ads because more people are bidding for ads, right? So if there's the ads are a bidding system, right? It's an auction. So people are auctioning for traffic. So the more people are auctioning, the prices are going to go up. And that's what happens during Black Friday period. So if we build our audience now, we've got an audience that we can sell to, and we don't need to use ads as much. Or the ads that we do use are going to be a lot more efficient because we know who we're targeting. Is that landing? Is that making sense for you guys? Yeah? All right, awesome. The other thing about having a really primed and amazing audience is that we're actually going to get in before our competition. Now, do you remember back at the start of this presentation, I showed you those sort of 4 screenshots, and one of them done $60,000 like a week and a half before Black Friday? That's because they primed their audience beforehand and they went on sale. They got the wallet money before Black Friday even went on sale. Right, so if we prime our audience and get them ready, we can actually get in before our competitions. This is where the audience building is a key strategy to growth in Black Friday. And the thing I love most about this audience building part of it, it's my favorite thing, is that we're not just building customers for Black Friday, we're building customers forever. We're building future customers. So we're building our list, we're building our audience, we're building our engagement, so that if they don't buy from us on Black Friday and they choose not to come and choose with us, they're still in our world and we can still work with them. Does that land with you guys? We've got a list that we're building. We're building an asset in our arsenal that we can continue to use. So let's go through it. And I want to take you through a strategy that we do teach in our elite program, which is called the audience builder. So I'm going to give you an overview of the way we do that, so that you guys can take it away. For those in the elite team, you'll have access to this in the portal. You've probably already done the training with me, but if you haven't, I've got more detailed one in the portal for that. But the audience builder is awesome. I love it. I use it all the time, and my iPad's not sharing now. Okay. And the reason we do that is we have a bucket of customers. Okay, we have a bucket of customers right now. And I always like to think of our customers as sort of being, a group of people that we've collected and that we can talk to over time. So let's think about this as our customer bucket. Those of you that are just meeting me, you'll notice that I do scribble a lot and my writing can be a little messy. So you're going to have to listen and watch at the same time. So that's just a little bit of scribble there. So customer bucket. So your customer bucket right now is obviously made up of your existing. And Gab, if you could chuck the workbook in there for everyone so you guys can download it. So team, this workbook is available for everyone, and there's a couple of checklists and stuff you're going to go along with. So Gab's just going to throw in the PDF in the chat. So make sure you grab that so you can follow along at home or work or wherever you are. So your bucket, you've got your existing customers right now. So these are the guys or gals that we continue to pull out of the bucket, right? So we're continually shopping from these guys. Now, the problem is, if they're the only people that we're marketing to, what's going to happen, right? What's going to happen if we're continually marketing to these customers? Write in the chat down below, if we're just marketing to our existing customers, what's going to happen? Anyone got any ideas? Sandra, I think I might have been a doctor, or maybe, what do they say? People that are scribbly, they're a genius or something like that. I'll go with that path. Yeah, no growth, Rachel, if you're continually hitting your existing customers. Yep. They go stale, Brett. Absolutely. Nice to see you, Brett, by the way. Elliot, if you do what you've always done, you always got absolutely. That's what's that? The first sign of insanity is continue to do the same thing time and time again and expect different results. Kathleen, even lower share of that wallet. Absolutely. If you continue to sell to your existing customers, that bucket's just going to go down and down and down, and then it's going to get empty. It's going to run dry. You know, customers can only buy so many things from you unless you're continually throwing out new different products or you've got replenishable products. That existing customer bucket is going to run dry. So what we need to do is we need to start stacking it. And a lot of you are probably doing some of this already. So we like to stack with the next thing, which is filling up our subscribers. Okay, so we fill up our subs. And that is usually with email and SMS. Okay, super simple, pretty nailed strategy, but it's one of the most powerful things that you can do. We'll call it our owned audience because we own that customer data. All right, so we're stacking different customers up on top of it. But we can do some more, right? We don't just rely on our subscriber list. There's actually another audience that we can target. And this is what most people are also doing, but they don't necessarily see it as a sellable audience at all times. It's using our social list. So if we think about our Instagram, our TikTok, our Facebook, heck, even Pinterest, you know, where is it that you're on social media? You might be on Snapchat. Depending on where you are, that is an audience that you can market to. We want to think of these as separate audiences. And yes, they may blend and cross over, but they're all audiences in their own right. And some people might not open emails very often, and they might only be in the DMs. Some people might only be on Facebook and not on TikTok, but they're all different audiences that we need to go and harvest, so to speak, right? So these are our audience as we go on. Now, the other cool thing about thinking about social media is it's not only the followers that you get, and this is where the ninja moves come into play. We also have pixel data. Does everybody know what pixel data is? Just write in the chat yes or no if you know what I mean when I say the word pixel data. Rachel, yep. Somewhat, yep. Okay, a couple of you, yes or no. I'll give you the 1 second, the 1 minute overview of what a pixel data is. Every site that installs a pixel either from Facebook or Google, what it does is actually tracks the behavior of your customers. And we capture that in our own little, we don't do it, the machine does it, right? It's capturing all the behavior and data of that pixel. And it's effectively like an audience it's creating about your ideal customer and the people that interact with you. So if we are continually warming up that pixel in these next 2 months, then when we actually go to buy ads, we can leverage the pixel data to send ads out to different people that are related to your audience. So we're warming up the pixel, okay? We can't actually see the customers and everything about it, but the algorithms do know everything about that pixel. So we want to continue to do it. And one of the strategies we're going to talk about today helps warm that pixel up. And it's one that we did teach in the Elite recently. Pixel data is very underrated. Now, there's one other audience that is super powerful that I only ever see the big brands do really, really well. And this is where we're using other people's audiences, or I'll call it OPA. We're not just leveraging our own audiences, we're starting to use other people's audiences. Team, where do we think we get other people's audiences from? Drop it down in the chat if you could. Where do we get other people's audiences from? And while you're talking, I'm just going to have some coffee. Number 2 for the day. All right, lookalikes, strategic alliances, excellent. Elliot, gold star. Collabs from Brett, absolutely. Ads from Sandra, influencer collabs. Yep, nice one, Leanne. Fabulous. So you've all sort of got there. Basically, other people's audiences is who has an audience similar to yours that you can leverage or you can partner with. You know, can you work with someone that has a similar audience to you? And I'll give you an example. When I worked at 2XU, which is an athletic brand that sells, you know, activewear and things like that, we had some relationships with, I don't know why I'm referring to football so much today, but I will anyway. We had relationships with a lot of the major football teams here in Australia. And so what they did is they, you know, clothed the footballers with this activewear, but they didn't do anything else. So what we did is we said, well, you've got a membership base of 50,000, 100,000 members. What if we did a deal for your members? And what if we gave you early access to our Black Friday deal and you can send it out to your members? And they're like, yeah, that sounds great. Our members would love that because they have the same audience that we do. So we put together a curated deal that we give to them and instantly we have 50,000 new customers, right? So we did that at 2XU, but in their world, they actually had 50 different customers with 50,000 different audiences. So you can see how that compounds the more partners that you get. So you want to use other people's audiences to get your offer out there. So rather than just using email and ads, let's leverage other people's audiences because we could see the power of leverage on those ones there. Yeah. Ninja move that makes a lot of cashola. Okay, cool. So this is the tool that we use, and it's called the Audience Builder. And you guys will find that in the workbook. Now I'm going to take you through how this works. And this is basically breaking up those 3 buckets that we just talked about. How we build our subscriber list, how we warm up the pixel and get a bigger social following, and how we deal with partners. And we think of this as a bit of an idea starter and how we work about it. Now, you're probably going to be doing some of this somewhat, but I'm going to take you through a way to think through it so you're doing it really, really well. So the first one we talk about is email and SMS list. And this is sort of, should be doing it all year anyway, but we switch it up for this time of year just so that we get a different type of audience. But an email and SMS list, if we want to subscribe people to our list, we need to offer them something because it is a value exchange. We can't ask for something from someone and not give them something in return, right? So people understand the value of an email address, and they also understand the value of their phone number. So we can't just say, hey, sign up to our newsletter and and give me your email address and I'm not going to give you anything in return. I'm just going to hear all about our products and news. That's not appealing to anyone anymore. We need to make sure that we're giving them something in return. Yeah. So this is how we build out sort of the offer that we want to do. Now, the most common, the easy, the most straightforward way is offer a discount. And you guys would have all seen this before. It's a pop-up on your homepage that comes out that says, sign up now and get $10 off your first order. If you're doing that, just write in the chat how much you're giving away on your first order. If you're doing that, I'd love to just see the sort of numbers that people are doing. 10%, 5%, 10, 10, 10, 15, 11 ink GST. Yeah, love that, Sandra. Okay, cool. So everybody seems to be doing this sign up offer, and it's a strong strategy, absolutely. So most of you guys were sitting around that $10 mark or 10% mark. So I want you to use this to think about how it works, but we want to be a little bit more strategic about it. I'd love to hear, again in the chat, what made you come up with that number? How did you get $10? So Jane, how did you get the $15? Just write in the chat what made you do that. Sandra, why is it $11 and not 10 or 15? Tell me why you chose that number. I'd really love to hear why you chose the number. Directed by the owner. Okay, well, that's always an easy way to choose it. Why do you think they chose it? Margin that we can afford. Yep. Probably asked Google. Yeah, of course. We always ask Google. Sustainable margin. Yep. All those things. It's good that you're thinking about it. What some people say is, because I just thought it was the right number. The way I like to be a little bit more calculated though, and I think about it this way. So let's just say my average order value is $100. How much of that how much of that value am I willing to give away? Usually about 10% is the maximum I'd want to give away on that. So if it's $100 average order value, I'm giving away $10. Okay. But this is the kicker. We do want to put a minimum spend in. And what would we make that minimum spend? Anyone got any ideas? Any ideas what we might make the minimum spend? $100. Your AOV, absolutely. Because then we're not actually losing, right? We're not actually losing. And what I want you to think about here is the coupon code is not necessarily, we're not getting the email address to get the sale right now. We're getting the email address to get the sale in the future. So we're buying that email address up now, and the likeliness of them using the coupon is actually pretty low. But the likeliness of them giving your email address is really high if you give them the right offer. So we've got to give something to get something. So that's sort of the first one. The other little trick here is the duration, is making sure that we do put an expiry on these coupon codes. So we get them to sign up and then we put an expiry on it. We do like 30 days. And the cool thing about that is that we can remind them that the coupon code's about to expire. They're already tied in our list and they already know who we are. They've already gone through our welcome series. And then we say, hey, by the way, if you haven't shopped yet, you've got a coupon code. I'd recommend you use it now. And then it disappears after that. So they're not coming back 12 months later and using their welcome code. All right. And if this is a really other cool move, if their welcome code does expire, they'll often say, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't get to buy it in time. I missed out on the discount. That's when you can create a nice relationship and maybe give them a little discount via an email, right? Building that nice human-to-human relationship. So that's the first one, super simple, bit of an all year round evergreen strategy to grow your list. The one we are going to use, or I'm going to recommend you use during this strategy, is running a competition to get people in your list. Now, this can be anything from giving away a prize pack, a coupon code, or anything like that, but it's just a very typical giveaway. And in here, it would be something like, so if I think about my store, we sell boxing gloves. It might be, boxing gloves, a pair of boxing gloves worth $160. Okay. Now, the key to this is giving away something that appeals to your audience. We don't want to give away something just to get people on the list. We want to make sure that whatever you're selling and the audience that you're attracting is the thing that you need to be giving away. So if I was to go out there and say, I'm going to give away an iPad to anyone that signs up to my list, I'm going to get people that aren't interested in boxing gloves, right? You know what I mean? We want to make sure we're always giving away something that attracts the right people because we want the quality of that list to be high. So think about your business right now. If you were to run a competition, what do you think you could give away? Chuck it in the chat. I'd love to read. What could you give away that attracts your customers to your audience? A voucher? Vouchers are pretty simple, right? Voucher to your brand. Perfect. Yep. Anyone else? Could you give away a gift or a prize pack or something like that? Latest release products? Absolutely. First to try. Yeah. So that strategy works really well, Leanne, actually. I often see brands will be like first access to like this, this new release product be the first. It happens in like the sneaker world and in the streetwear world a lot, in the fashion world. International Baby Wearing Week, give away a baby carrier. Perfect. That's going to get you the right person in your world. Buy two, get one free, Doug. Yep. Recovery products pack. So yeah, a competition to win a coupon is really interesting as well. I'd like that, Doug. That's great. Recovery products pack, pet stock voucher. Yeah. Excellent. So you're attracting the audience that you want. And that's what the giveaway should be. Don't ever just give away something that will attract everybody. You want it to attract the right people. Now, then the other thing we think about is how regularly do we do this draw? Now, funnily, in our business, we actually run this competition evergreen. And what I mean by that is it's run every single month and these ads never go away. We might flip them up with different competitions, but we just draw it monthly. And what that means is that every month our list is growing with more and more people through this campaign. Okay, really cool little strategy. The next couple of ways, pretty interesting, and I think if you do them well, they can be really powerful. So one is called a PDF download, and I'll often call that like an email magnet or a lead magnet or something like that. But think about your brand. Do you have a product that could be supplemented with some sort of how-to guide or some sort of checklist or something like that that could be useful for your customers or could attract the right customers? So one of our clients, he sells skipping ropes, actually. I don't think he's on the call today. No, he's not. He sells skipping ropes and he gives away PDF documents on the top 10 workouts that you can do at home with a skipping rope. Really cool download. It works really well and it attracts his audience as well. He's also tried, top 10 workouts at home without a skipping rope because people that work out at home, they're going to download that even if they don't have a skipping rope and then he'll try and sell them the skipping ropes. Yeah. See what I mean there? So we want to make sure that we've got something that's attractive to them. We could do any sort of digital product, like, could do a little video that they get access to. It could be, it could be instruction manuals. It could be anything. We just want to, or white papers or research documents, or depending on what it is that you sell. I think people in the baby space, it could be like a little parenting guide. It could be, the top 10 things you never knew about being a parent, because it's always a bit scary. So think about things that could be really interesting to your audience that people could go down with. Everyone landing? Is this all making sense to everyone? Yep. Excellent. Love this. And then the final one, team, it's not necessarily the final, but it's probably the final of these top 4, is launching some sort of VIP program. Now, this is a lot more complex than it sounds. It's not an easy thing to launch, but if you do have the time and effort you want to do this, VIP programs can be super powerful. And we often see large retailers doing this really, really well. And, if you walk into a retailer today, how frequently do you have a member price, right? If you join the club today, you get 10% off and that's the member price. That's the VIP program. And the reason they do that is they want to get you into their world and they're willing to give you something to do that, which is 10% off pricing all day, every day. So if you are thinking about a VIP program, try and think about what is it that you're going to offer that's different, right? So if it's just to get a percentage off, is that really that great? Often VIP programs work really well if they get other benefits with it as well. So it could be things like, do they get birthday bonuses? I might write that in here. Do they get like a birthday offer? Do they, get, an anniversary, like a yearly coupon? Do they get upgrades? Yeah. So what is it that you can actually do that will entice people to join rather than just for the discount? How do they feel like they're part of your world? Okay. Cool. So there's 4 strategies that you can use right now to grow your email list. Pretty straightforward. Discount code, competition, PDF digital download, and VIP program. And some of the best brands in the world are doing all of those things, but they're doing it nice and strategically. Okay. Great way to do it. Excellent. So let's move to the next one, which is building out your pixel. And this is your social plan. Now, this one is actually really easy. It sounds hard, sounds complicated, but it's really easy. Does anyone know what it is? How can we build our following and our pixel data as quick as possible? Show me some ideas down below how you think you can build your following. Let me hear how you think you can build your following. There's no wrong, well, there is wrong answers, but there's no judgment. This is a safe space we're in. I'm not going to judge anyone. All right, Pinterest. Anyone? Okay, got a few. Cat got your tongue on this one. Create a group to publish offers, do competition in socials. There we go. Yep. It's super simple, team. Just be active on social media. That's all it is. Post at least once a day. Get videos out there. Get stories out there. You just got to be active. You're not going to get followers if you're just sitting there waiting and posting once a week. I just watched a YouTube video. Actually, Gab, I put the YouTube video in our elite team group. Do you want to grab that and throw it in the chat? I think it'd be really useful for everyone. I watched a YouTube video yesterday. It was an interview with the CEO of Instagram, and he talked about the way the algorithm works. And he said that the actual grid now, the feed, is less important than it's ever been because most people are spending their time in stories and reels and videos and in the DMs. And so what that means for us is, if you know about stories, they actually go away after 24 hours. So if you're not active in your stories, then your brand is not ever getting seen because people are barely even going into the grid. So one way to build your audience is just be active. Just do the Gary Vee model. Just post, 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 post. That's how you build your audience. Trying to be strategic and do specific hashtags and things and that sort of stuff there is still powerful, but that's a 1%er. The 100%er is just do the reps. Continue to get your content out there. All right, excellent. Cool. Thanks, Gab, for chucking that one in there. Really good video. Make sure you guys save it. I was pretty pumped about it. So that's how we build it. If we're getting our audience and our following up, that's going to build our social profile. It's going to tell the algorithm that we're alive. It's going to create activity on our feed. It also means that when we do an offer, we've actually got the list who's used to hearing from you, right? It's not just you come out of the blue. And if you don't post very regularly and then you just put a post up, your post is going to be at the end of everyone else's, because the way the algorithm works is it only shows content that people that have shown interest in. So if they haven't shown interest in your post, it's not going to be there, right? So just get on there and start posting. And then, team, the final one is what we talked about, partnerships. And this is where we find partners that we can work with. Now, I think about, we're doing this in our Fight Gear store right now. And as an example, we're working with boxing coaches and gyms. So what we're doing is we're getting this join into our world as like an affiliate. And then when Black Friday comes, we're going to put a special offer out to all of those people. So we're building that affiliate network right now. And we've rolled this out into our elite team as well. They're all starting to build their affiliates and partnerships so that when Black Friday comes, they say, hey, affiliate, by the way, we really value you. So here's an offer that we'd love you to put out to your customers just for you, because that does 2 things. Not only gets you a new audience, but it actually makes the affiliate look good because they're giving something valuable to their audience, and it makes people stay with that affiliate or for that coach, right? So if I think about our boxing coach that we're working with, if he goes and says, hey guys, you can get 15% off these boxing gloves, or, you know, if you buy these boxing gloves, you get free wraps, or whatever the deal is we put together, they're going to stay with him, right? Because he's the only one that does that offer. Does that make sense? And it keeps you in there. It's a bit like, you know, if you're joining, you know, frequent flyer clubs in the airlines, you stay with them because they've got something that keeps you sticky, and that's something that you want to do there. So, team, the way we use this worksheet is we come up with what we want the partner offer to be. So maybe it's a gift with purchase, maybe it's a percentage off, something like that. And then what I want you to do is, once you've got the offer, identify 3 different partners that you can work with. Okay. And then all we need to do is go out and contact them and say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Partner, I've got this really nice deal that I think your members are going to love, and I want you to send it out to your customers. And by the way, you could do this. If they buy from us, we might even give you a little kickback. We might give you a couple of % commission on that sale. So not only are they providing value to their audience, but they actually might get something a little bit out of it as well. And this is how we start to build more leverage and more relationships with people, okay? Jess has no idea how to find partners in the kid space. Let's hold that for now, Jess, and we can talk about that when we have our little bootcamp Q&A, and we'll think about different ways to do that. So team, I'm going to take you through how we're doing this right now, or how this might look in your world. So if we look at here, this is the actual competition we're running right now. This is the one that we talked about. So this is how we get email signups and how we get phone number signups via this offer. Super simple. Now this one here is a Facebook lead ad that we're doing. And the cool thing about Facebook lead ads is when someone goes to enter it, all the information is pre-populated and it fills in there. The other cool thing about that is that it also helps enrich the pixel, because we're sending it from our Facebook page or our Instagram or Meta pages. And when people buy from that, it signals to Facebook, I should say Meta these days, it signals to Meta that this is the type of person that's interested in my content, so that when we launch an ad at Black Friday, we know who to target, okay? Now, the other way is in this one, if we look at this one here, this is to try and get email, phone numbers, and phone numbers here, we can just text it with certain phone number programs, or we can use a link in bio where they can subscribe. So we like to have in the bio that they click in, they say, sign up here to get 10% off. So we can use the link in bio to get subscribers. A lot of people aren't doing that, right? And if we think if most of our business is on Insta, then we should have our link in bio should be to get the 10% off. So don't just give them the code straight away. They have to sign up to get the code, okay? That's sort of the one. And then, the tried and trusted method of getting email addresses is a pop-up on our store. Yep, super simple, super easy. So there's 3 separate methods right now that we can use, and they're using 3 separate channels. So the Facebook ad, they don't even need to know where your site is to get it. If they're following you on Insta, they can subscribe there as well. And if they do land on your site, they can subscribe there as well, all right? So that's how we build our audience. Team, I'd love to hear what's been most useful. What's one key takeaway from building an audience that you can put in your business right now? I'd love you to type in the chat what that is. What is one of the most useful things you've learned about this today? I'm just going to unplug my camera because it's overheating. Sorry, guys. Running a competition. Absolutely, Sam. Absolutely. It's all doable right away. 100%. I'd expect you to get off this call and get this hooked up right away. Great. And if you're using tools like Klaviyo, it makes this a little bit easier, right? So we can connect, well, it sounds easy. I know a few of the guys in our group, it wasn't super easy, but you can actually connect Facebook to Klaviyo together so that any sign up that you get on your Facebook lead form goes directly into your Klaviyo list. And then when it hits your Klaviyo list, you can then trigger a flow and it goes through this amazing nurture sequence. That's a really cool one. Alice, the Insta-link bio idea to supplement the website. Absolutely. Game changer. Absolutely. We are loving, it's a tool called Link Pop if you're not using it. It's a Shopify tool, it's free, and it allows you to create, not only links to your Shopify store, but it also allows you to create links of signups and things like that. Or you can use Linktree if you don't have a Shopify store. Linktree is great as well. Use those sort of tools there. Kathleen, it's a chance to prime them, 100%. Alice, Link, Klaviyo, and Meta together. It is a ninja move. Absolutely. Leanne's nodding her head there. I think we had a little bit of work yesterday connecting that up. But yeah, once it's up and running, thumbs up. Sign-up rate is not where I want it to be, so I need to work on that. Absolutely. So that's a really good pickup, Jess. Everything that we do, guys, when we're running e-commerce stores needs to have an objective at the end of it so we can measure how powerful it is, right? So one of the things, if we think about, one of the questions I get asked every day, and I'm surprised no one actually asked it, is, where's my highlighter? Do I do $1 off or do I do a percentage? What's the answer, team? What's the answer to that amazing question? Percentage or dollar sign? What do we think? Jess, A/B testing. What do we think? It's a safe space. I'm not going to judge you for whatever you say. Depending on the price of your products. Interesting. Whatever gives value to them but doesn't kill your margin. Elliot, anything else? Yep. Okay. I'm loving this. Okay, good. You guys are good. This is great. I've got a great group of people here that know exactly what they're talking about. So it depends on your brand. And what I mean by that is we should always be testing. So there's one metric that we use as our sort of sign up rate, and it's called form submit rate. So those of you that use Klaviyo, there is a form submit rate percentage. And so what we want to do is we want to test, and we want to have, for 1 month, we run $1 off. For 1 month, we run a percentage off, and then we start to play with what those numbers are. So as an example, on our Fight Gear store, we started off with $10 off because our AOV was like $200 or whatever. It was close to $200. So we're like, okay, $10 makes sense. But if we think about what Elliot just said, that does still eat into your margins. So you go, well, do I really want to give away $10? So we looked at what our form submit rate was, and we said, okay, for the month, let's drop it to $5 and see whether or not our email subscribers decline or don't decline. And what we actually found was that $5, there was no difference. So what the difference was our margins. So we just kept it at $5 now, and we still had the same amount of subscribers coming in. So use form submit rate as your guiding light for that one there. All right. Thanks, Leanne. Percent rewards better, more spend, more discount, of course. And you want to test that, right? To see whether or not that is the case. Sometimes the flip side to that is people like to see the dollar values they don't need to calculate. And that's the other argument to that as well. Feels more tangible having a dollar value there. Okay, cool. All right, I'm actually a little bit behind schedule, so I'm going to start moving. I just get a bit excited about this stuff. All right, let's go on to the next thing, team. So it's all about getting your offer right. And I want you to think about what is it during this Black Friday period that actually appeals to your audience. And the reason we want to do that is because we need to discount smartly. We don't want to just be going, hey, you know what? I'm just going to 50% off and sell the farm, okay? And I've got someone who runs a farm here. Don't sell the farm for 50% off. We want to be smart about it. And the reason these sales were originally designed was to help clear old season stock to make way for the new season. Right. So that's why these big brands went on sale. The big retailers went on sale. People used to rush and break the doors down just to get these discounts because stores wanted to clear stock so they could make way for the other stock. Right. That's how it used to work. So they were discounting smartly, and then it just got all carried away and got crazy, and people buy stock just to sell at Black Friday. But I want you to be smart about it, because if you're going to be discounting or putting an offer out there, we want it to work for you. Okay. So because of that, I don't want you to play copycat. I don't want you to look at your competitor and say, well, they're doing 25% off, so I better do 25% off, because we don't know what's happening in the background. They might be willing to lose money because they've been sitting on this stock for 18 months and it's collecting dust and they just want to get rid of it. So don't play copycat. You want to do what works for your brand. So in order to do that, though, we do need to make sure we're pulling the right levers that get you the result that you want. So if it is about clearing stock, are we pulling a lever to clear stock? Is it about getting new customers? Are we pulling levers to get new customers? Is it about increasing our average order value? We're putting in the right levers to do that. Okay, so we want to think about what our outcome is, a little bit like the form submit rate. That was the outcome of the change that we made. What's the outcome going to be of the offer that we put out into the world? And that's a really important way to think. I'm going to give you a tool that's going to help you with this. So this is where we come up with discount strategies. All right, team. So if I think about our discount strategies, I'm going to jump across to this one here. We've got to use the growth levers to find them. And what I mean by that is got 3 levers of growth. And the first one is traffic. The second one is your conversion rate. And your third one is your AOV. If we get that right, it's going to help us with our revenue. So any of these that go up is going to get us our revenues. That sort of makes sense. We all understand that equation of e-commerce, okay? More traffic, more conversion rate, more AOV, everybody's happy, our revenue goes up. So our goal is, how do we make all these things work? So we want to tie our offer in with such a way that those things are going to move. Is this making sense to everyone? Yep. Write down in the chat, what do you want more of? Do you want conversion rate? Do you want average order value? Or do you want traffic? What do we think we need in our business? Yeah, all the things. I had a feeling most people would write all the things, please. Traffic, traffic, traffic. All about conversion rate. Absolutely. Conversions. Oh, look at these conversions. Awesome. This is good. Excellent. Thank you, team. Cool. So we sort of got in our mind what it is that we want to, the outcome we want to have. So now that we know that, we're gonna put in what our objective is when we think about building this. So what's our objective? We've talked about it. It's either going to be conversion rate or AOV or traffic, because that makes us all the money. All right, so that's going to be our objective. And I want you to think about why you're doing this offer. What objective is it going to be? Then we've got what mechanic are we going to use to do that? And when I say the word mechanic, and it sounds really techie or whatever, mechanic is what's the tool that's going to actually put this offer in place? And there's so many different tools that we can use when it comes to discounting. And what I mean by that is things like coupons. Okay, is that the tool we're going to use? Is that our mechanism? You know, is it going to be a markdown? Okay, is it going to be a strike-through pricing? Or are we going to do sort of an auto discount? Or we're going to do gift with purchase. So you can see now as we start to break this up a little bit, we can go, well, if we want conversion rate, what is it that's going to give us that? Will a gift with purchase give us a conversion rate? Maybe. Would a markdown be a better chance? You know, so if something's 100 and it's now 75, is that likely to increase our conversion rate? So we're starting to think about what objective we have and then what mechanic do we need to put in place. Once we've decided that, then we go in and we actually go to market. And how are we going to market this thing? Okay, we've got the offer. How are we going to market it? We've got a list now. We've just built it. We're going to run some ads. We're going to work with partners. Yeah. Makes sense? Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, team. You guys are absolutely awesome. All right. Don't know why my music started. How crazy. All right. So let's go to the next part. Ideas. Because what tends to happen is, well, Brendan, I don't know what to do. Do I just discount? And you don't always need to discount. There's so many different ways that we can actually reach these objectives. And like there's a list. And if you look on your workbook, they're all here. So if you want to increase your average order value, do these things. Any one of these is going to help you increase your AOV. All of them. Buy X for X. Okay, so 2 things for more money. Spend and save. Spend more, get more. Buy one, get one. So we're increasing our average order value, right? You've got heaps of ideas here. We want to increase our conversion rate. What do? We can do these things. Usually they are price related for conversion rate. I had one client once say to me, I want to double my conversion rate and I want to do it in under a week. I said, easily, I can do that, no problem. Do you know how we did it? Anyone know how we doubled conversion rate? You know, actually, it wasn't even a week. It took 2 days. 2 days to double conversion rate. You know what we did? Anyone? Jump in the chat. Slash prices, absolutely. Anyone can double their conversion rate by dropping their prices. The problem is we want to drop them in the right way that it creates a margin and creates the volume to account for that margin loss. All right. So conversion rate is usually a reflection of your offer, your product, and the value that you provide. So if the product is too expensive for what the perceived value is, it's going to be really hard to sell. Okay. So often that's where price can play a part, but your offer and the value needs to play a part as well. So conversion rate is usually in this short period of time is all about dropping your price, okay, and having a really easy to understand offer. What you'll see here is none of these are complex offers. None of them you need to do cartwheels and backflips for to get the discount. It's just like, this is what it is. This is your discount. All right. Now, there's a couple of brands that I work with that don't like discounting and they're never going to discount and they don't. You think about, I don't work with these guys, but if you think about a brand like Apple, do they ever go on discount? No, they don't, right? But they still need to be part of these types of deals. So in order to do that, there's heaps of, in fact, I've actually got more no discount deals and offers than all the other ones. So no discount, things that we can do, limited edition products, customizations, and not on sale. These ones work really well, actually. You can go out to your email list and say, we're not on sale. We're never going to be on sale. Buy our stuff at full price, please. I've even seen someone put their prices up during Black Friday. A bit weird, but they did it anyway. Members only products, okay? Digital product add-ons. So buy something, get something for free. Some sort of new drop, collabs, holiday packages, partner programs, extended returns windows, right? You can, instead of your returns, I often see this at Christmas time, actually, they'll extend the returns window. They'll say buy during this period and you've actually got 6 months to return it as opposed to 3 months. It's a really good value add. There's value in that, okay? I know when we book holidays, my wife always books at booking.com because you don't need to pay up front, you pay right near the end. And that's actually okay, because it just means if we're booking a holiday in 12 months time, we don't want to need to pay for it now, let's pay for it closer to the holiday. And so we choose them over other people because of that value add, similar to returns, similar to extended warranties. what is it that you can do that adds value without discounting or devaluing your brand? You can do packages and bundles. Who said bundles? Oh yeah, Jess, you mentioned bundles. Absolutely. We can bundle it so we can make people's life easier. Gift guides and donations are a great one as well. People also like to buy from people. Well, they always like to buy from people, and they also like to buy from caring and thoughtful and helpful people. So maybe instead of taking the discount, you put some money back into charity. Okay. It changes the way people think about you and your brand. Everyone finding this helpful? Yeah. Awesome. Love this team. You guys are awesome. All right. So there is some promotional ideas for you guys. So what I've also done here is an offer builder, and I'll just give you a really quick overview of this. But basically the way it works is we think about our objective and those growth levers we just talked about. And this is just a way for you to ideate what you want to do, right? So what conversion lever do you want it to be? You can't have an offer be all of those things. You can only be one, okay? Now we want to work out what is it now, your conversion rate, average order value, or database. What do we want it to be? Okay, so the now and the net and the future one there. And in order to do that, what's our goal, our business goal going to be? Do we want to clear stock? Do we want to launch a new product, leverage event, new customers? So you can see here, we're reverse engineering the goal so that we know the outcome that we want to get. Okay, and then what's that going to net us in revenue? Okay, what is that going to do for us? And that makes us then determine what is the offer then going to look like that matches these. And to do that, we just go back to this list. Oh, my iPad's frozen on me. We go back to the list above. Sorry, I'll get off that iPad for a second. And sorry, team. There can't be a workshop without having a tech issue. It just is. We've had two so far, but hopefully this one's not too bad. All right, I'm back. So this is where you get your offer from. All right, so you put the offer from here into here, and we work out the mechanic, everything we talked about, and then how are we going to market? Is that tool useful for you guys? Write in the chat, thinking about your offer a little bit more strategically. Is it useful? If it's not, that's absolutely fine. It's a tool I use all the time to plan the right offer, because there's no point just going on sale and not understanding the outcome. This was really honed into me when I worked with a major brand, a global brand, and we used to do a post-marketing analysis, right? So every time we went to market, we then had to have a meeting after we went to market on a campaign and decide how it went. Now, we could never actually, at first, we couldn't actually determine how it went because we didn't know what our goals were up front. So we need to know what our goals are up front to know whether the campaign's successful. And if we just look at revenue as a success metric, that's okay, but that's an outcome of all the work you've done. But we could make lots of money, but we haven't sold the products we want to sell. So we want to understand what's the objective of this campaign and what's the outcome going to look like so that we know whether it's successful or not. All right. I want you to start thinking a little bit more data-driven in that sense. All right. Cool. Hey, Gab, thank you. You're way ahead of me. And then here's just a couple of examples for you guys just to sort of see what people have done last year for Black Friday. So Boohoo, they did 80% off everything as the marketing message, plus thousands of products at £1 or $1. But you can see they've done these little sort of call outs here, different sorts of things. So they would be really strategic. This is super strategic what they've done here. It's up to, by the way, very small, up to 80%. And so what they've done here, super strategic. I'll have all this old stock that they want to get rid of. And they've done that at 80% off. And that's their marketing message. And that's your £1 items. But then they're going to have stuff that's like at only 10% off, right? So they've opened that up because their strategy is, how do I clear the stock I've got too much of? We have a look over here, a little bit different, buy 3, get 3 free, Glossier, only sale of the year, bit of scarcity and exclusivity. They don't go on sale very often. And then Gymshark up to. You'll see this up to a lot. So it always happens that way, that some key products are at high discounts so that we get the cut through. Team, what do we find most useful about the offer? I'd love to just write in the chat. How are we thinking about offers now? We're thinking about offers a little bit differently now that we know this strategy. A little bit different. What are we finding different? What are we going to do differently with our offers? Love to hear what you're thinking about. Absolutely. 100%, Kathleen. More than just 15% off. Absolutely. Thinking more broadly. Love this team. You are taking in what I'm putting down, and I like it. Okay, cool. I've also, just because I forgot that I put it there, but there's 100 marketing campaign examples just here. All right. So you can click in there. If the click doesn't work, just copy and paste it. But there's 100 different examples of big brands and exactly what they're doing during this period. So if I can put my finger there, it's like that. There you go. Oh, the other way. Just up there. There it is. See that? I always wanted to do that. All right. I feel like I'm a weather presenter when I do that. All right, team. Now, what is it? It's time to put all this into action. So the way we put this into action, guys, is we need to realize that it's not just a one-day event, okay? So we talked about this earlier in the day. We talked about how we kick off here. Sorry, just trying, my screen's gone all funny on me. We kick off and we go through sort of till the end of the cycle, the Black Friday cycle. Now, the start of it is when we do our hype. So we built our audience. We're going to hype people up about the event that's coming. We then want to go through and do an early offer. And this is the strategy you need to use, okay? So if we're just waiting for the game day, Black Friday, we're losing out, because if people have already gone and started spending their money with brands that went early, you are going to miss out because they don't have any money left, all right? So we're building our audience, and we're going to go early to the audience that knows and loves us, and we're going to give them the offer, all right? And that's where we build our early offer to, say, our VIPs, okay? VIPs, there you go. Then we've got game day. That's Black Friday, okay? We've also got Cyber Monday. And then we've also got an opportunity to extend. Now, we don't have to extend, but if we think about what our objectives were prior, we've already set them. We know what we want from this campaign. If we don't hit our objectives, we have every right to extend. Okay, so this is where the extension arm gets pulled. And you'll often see that with brands will extend. And usually if they've extended, it means that they didn't hit the goals they wanted to hit or their targets that they've set, right? Or they just got really greedy and said, hey, this is working really well, let's extend it. Okay, so you've got this extension. So if we think about this from a sales cycle, guys, we've got this hype period, you know, where we've got our normal sales. We go early, boom, right? We then get our sales number there. Okay, it might then float around here, and then Black Friday, we go up again, and our sales number there. We come back down a little bit, Cyber Monday, again, and then extend, and again. So you can sort of see there this little mountain, and it means that our sales are going to start to go up over time, right? So we have these continued spikes and these peaks that we want to go to. Now, these peaks are really important because that's how your business is going to run. So we'll see that, boom, spike, spike, spike. And we've seen that time and time again. You even see that in the screenshots I gave you at the start of the session. So if we've got that, where are we going to get the traffic from? And has everyone seen me talk about the traffic trifecta? Write in the chat yes or no, whether or not you've seen the traffic trifecta. Just so I get a vibe for it. Jess has, yep, no. Okay, good mix here. So traffic trifecta, we break it up into sort of 3 key areas. The first area is what we call paid traffic, where we get traffic from. Okay, so paid traffic is, you know, things like Meta ads, it's Google ads, could be TikTok, wherever you're paying for traffic to come to you. Okay, that's sort of your first one. The second one is owned traffic, and that's what we just talked about. Okay, that is your email, it's your SMS, it's your social posts, okay, socials. So you have access to talk directly to those people. And then the third one is what we call our earned traffic. So this is where we get traffic from, I guess, places like the SEO work that we put in place. We might get it from our partners. Bring that up a little bit. Yep. So it's where other people send us traffic. So this is where we pay for traffic. This is where we use the traffic that we own. And then this is where other people send us traffic. That makes sense? You have to do that because we want to make sure we've got a diverse, de-risked source of traffic coming in. Okay. So now that we know that, how on earth are we going to get our offer out to all these places? And this is the secret to getting your offer right. Now we recommend a strategy, which is an email first strategy. So we use email to lead our campaign. And I've done this all the time. And people say email's dead, doesn't work. It is not dead. And this is the time where we can cut through inboxes to people. Some brands I know have sent up to 18 emails over 4 days, right? But every email generated revenue, and there was no unsubs, there was no spam complaints, because now is the time that you can send as many emails as possible, because the inbox is going to get absolutely flooded with everyone else. So if you're not sending emails and your competitors are, or anyone is, then you're not going to get seen. There's so much noise and you need to cut through that noise. So we want to be sending emails. Now that sounds a bit scary. It's like, oh, what sort of emails do I send? I can't create them. It takes me too long. It's all this sort of stuff. It's super easy, guys. I might come back to the plan for a second. It's super easy. These are the only templates you need, and we just circle them around. So these are 4 emails that we might send out, but it's really basic. Right? Your offer goes here. Offer. Your best sellers go here. And then we just repeat offers. And then maybe, your up to deals, then offers. This is a basic email. How long do you think this is going to take you to build in Klaviyo? Right, type in the chat. How long do you think it would take you to build this in? You got Canva, you got Klaviyo, 2 easy tools. How long do you reckon it'll take you? 5 to 10 minutes? Absolutely. 5 to 10 minutes. Now, I'll often get a feedback that says, oh, but they're so boring and so basic. How do I cut through? I want to show you something. These are some of the biggest brands in the world, and they're doing the same thing. This was Gymshark last year. Look at this. Offer, CTA. Offer, products. Offer, products. Basic. There's nothing crazy about this. Let's look at another one. JS Health. Does everyone know JS Health? This is one image in Canva. One image, and some products. Klaviyo everything, one image. These aren't overly complicated. You've probably already got this. You just got to change the icon. Super easy. 60 seconds in MailChimp. Ooh. Someone just say MailChimp on one of my calls. Elliot, come on, mate. We're going to level up in this place. All right. No judgment. True Classic, one of the biggest brands right now. These guys are killing it. If you haven't seen True Classic, follow along. They've got some pretty interesting strategies. Their first email to VIPs, text only. Boss. That's a boss move. Look at that. That is confidence right there. And then super simple. One image products, one image collections. I'm not making this up. This is exactly what the big brands do, this strategy. Yeah. Don't overthink it, team. Don't overthink it. And I can guarantee you these emails are generating them tens and thousands of dollars every email that gets sent. Guarantee you. Why? Because they've built their audience, they've got the right offer, and they've got the market fit. Yeah. That's the key. That's the absolute key to this one. So I'm going to leave you with one last tool that you guys can use, and it's a planning tool. And it was this one here I just skipped over. So if we think about what I just mentioned around early bird, VIPs, Black Friday, what I want you to do is think about those owned, earned, and paid channels. And what in those channels are you doing at each of these points, okay, to get this sale moving? What emails are we sending, okay? What are we sending this day? What are we sending this day? What are we sending this day? And you need to be sending one every day at a minimum, right? If you get really crazy, you could send 2, one in the morning, one in the evening. All right, now it sounds wild, but I promise you, you're not going to be disappointed. So what are we sending? What ads have we got running during this period? Okay, what are we doing on our website? So I want you to use this planner to really plan the time out, because people who are planned get results. We need to plan it out. If we're just going, oh, Black Friday's tomorrow, I'm going to think about it, you're not going to get those results. You should have this locked and loaded before the start of November, or maybe a week before. You already know what you're doing. You know your objective, you know your offer, you know your outcome. All right. So this is a plan that we put in place in our elite team, and it is an easy one. So you've got your early birds, you've got your in-market, and you've got your extended. So you all sort of know how to fill that out. Okay. Team, what have we found useful about the whole offer piece and this last piece of going to market? I'd love to hear what your sort of key takeaway is for this one. Key takeaways, team. What are we thinking? Key takeaways. Love to hear what people are loving about what I'm putting down. Get planning. Absolutely, Rachel. Don't overcomplicate it, Kathleen. I need to work on simplifying emails. Absolutely. It's so true, Alice. We overthink the design. Look, they still want to look beautiful. Absolutely. You want it to be branded and you want it to look nice. But in this environment, it is a sale. It's getting out. It is a little bit down and dirty, to be honest. Timeline and structured activity based on objectives. Bingo, Elliot. That's exactly what we like, that we know what's happening, what week, and what we expect from that week. More strategic approach across all channels. Exactly. It's not just ads. It's not just email. It's not just socials. It's all the things. There's a method that we talk about in Elite, which is the surround sound method, and making sure that people touch your brand at whatever channel that they operate in, right? So if they see a social post and they get an email from you and then they see an ad, they're more likely to have brand recall of your brand when they are ready to buy. It's a really important strategy.